Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Andrew. I play in Interloper and Ingested and Vampire Squid and a bunch of other bands. Moon Twin is another one. I'm all over the place. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the Interloper album that we released in September called A Forgotten Loss. I wanted to go over specifically the guitar tone and on that album and show you what I did so that you can kind of, if you wanted to replicate it, you could. I mixed that record and it was painstaking and difficult, but I learned a lot from doing that record. And I've done a lot of records in the past, but this one I really wanted to sound incredible, and I wanted it to compete with other extreme albums, and I think that I achieved it. So yeah, I just wanted to go over the guitar tone with you guys today, and then I think that over time I'm gonna go over different aspects of the album, like for example the drums and stuff and how I program those and which drum library I used and plugins that I used. So yeah, today just the guitar tone, which leads me to my next point, which is which guitar I used. So I'm a Jackson artist, but I still have this Legator Evertune 7-string. There's some foam because I was recording with it the other day. But yeah, it's Evertune 27-inch scale, Fishman Fluence Moderns in it. This guitar is an absolute beast for recording. It sounds perfect, and I think it sounds the way that I want it to personally for two reasons. And those two reasons are the scale length. The 27-inch scale length goes a massively long way for clarity in the low end and the low notes. It lets me get away with using lighter gauges, which makes the tone brighter. And the second thing being the active pickups, the Fishman Fluence Moderns. I absolutely love those things. I know a lot of people don't like them, or there's like a love-hate relationship thing going on with the Fluence Moderns, but I happen to be somebody that cannot get enough of those pickups. They're in all of my guitars except for one, and I have a pair of Fluence Moderns to put into that guitar. That guitar right there, something unique about it is that when I put it against other guitars of mine that are 7-string, is that there's this distinct bump in the 600 to like 900 hertz range in this guitar, and it's not an unpleasing 6 to 900 hertz, because usually you kind of like, it kind of doesn't sound that great, makes things sound a little honky. But for some reason it's really pleasing in this guitar, and it helps the guitar tone really cut through in the mix a lot. So I thought that was worth mentioning. Before I ramble anymore, let's get into the mix so I could ramble there. All right. All right, so here we are in the session file. So before we get into it, I'll just say really quickly, I have my mix bus and master bus processing disabled, just to get like a fairer representation of what the guitar tone actually sounds like. So yeah, now that we have that out of the way, here's a guitar bus. I'm gonna leave all this engaged and I'm gonna go through that. But first, what I think I'll do is I'll just show you the plugin, and then we'll go through the bus processing, and that'll round it out. So yeah, let's have a listen to the full mix. And then we'll do just the guitar tone now. Yeah, and real quickly we'll just throw the bass in there for fun. All right, cool. So you probably already saw, but I'm using neural DSPs for a nameless. Not Nameless X, because that wasn't out yet when I finished this mix, or else I probably would have used that. But standard for a Nameless. So let's get into it. First things first, these are my pedal settings. I know that default, it comes with the grind pedal enabled, I think. Didn't end up using that, didn't need it. The Zool is enabled, and then we have a hex drive. These are the settings. And then for the amp head, I don't think I had, no, the full gain isn't enabled. So this is what we're looking at here. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. But yeah, these are, I guess, the knobs. If you wanted to just replicate these, you could just one-to-one. Yeah. Now, the most important part, in my opinion, is the IRs. So I did not use the IRs that are in the plugin, or like the virtual miking that's in the plugin. I use my own. And these ones are from Ownhammer, and these are the MRCB 412 IRs, which I believe are Marshall cab. I find that with the Marshall cabs, they have this crazy low-end bloom, which is what I was looking for this guitar tone. I wanted to find something that was like reminiscent of Kolos from Meshuggah, and just that crazy deep palm mute sound. And these IRs are what got me closer to that sound than the plugins IRs. So if you guys wanted to buy those, you totally could. Yeah, they're just vintage 30s. This one's called Fat. These are pre-made mixes. There's like a bunch of folders when you buy the IRs. There's like individual mics, and then there's mixes. So this is from the mixes folder, and this one is called EN1 Fat. And then I blended that with another mix, which is called the 599A. This blend took me it took me probably a week of trying different mix pairs to get to this destination, I guess. But I'm really, really happy with how it sounds. Let's listen again really quick. Go to maybe the verse right here. You can just hear that nice low end in that palm mute, man. It just blooms. I love it so much. So yeah, I mean, a lot of that had to do with the amp. For Nameless, just this amp head emulation has a bunch of low end in it just already. But I think that these IRs really just bring that out even more in a pleasing way, in a usable way. So, yep, that's what I did in the plugin. Now let's go to the bus processing. I'll turn off everything, and then we'll go through one by one. So here we go. This is without any of the processing on. Doesn't sound too different, but yeah, you can hear there's some stuff going on there. So yeah, let me explain. So first things first, I have this Kive tape plugin right here. I really, really love this plugin. I love it on guitars, and I also love it on drums. The drum bus specifically, I find that this thing just shaves peaks off of like transients of snares and toms. It just does it so nicely. So yeah, this is definitely like a go-to plugin that I reach for. I have everything at 0 right here. Nothing is being pushed into it. But what I did in here was I just turned the saturation knob up. So I'm using tape saturation on the guitars before I do any EQing or anything like that. So let's listen to it off, and then we'll listen to it with it switched on. You can hear it just brings the guitar tone to life. It fills out the first thing my ears hear is that high end. There's like this nice pleasing upper like mid range, or like even like sort of in the high end, like 5K ish is what it sounds like to me. But it also really just brings up the low end, which I have this low boost knob, or this low boost button engaged. I forgot to mention that. It also brings these low mids up in such a nice way. You could probably achieve something similar to this low end boost in like, say, maybe like a Pultec. But I really like this plugin because it also has that saturation knob. So there's that. The next thing that I did was some basic shaping here. Just some basic scooping, low mids. And then this upper mid range here. Very, very typical of a guitar tone EQ. Let's hear it with it off, and then we'll hear it with it on. So yeah, I think the most audible thing is this this low pass right here. It's pretty low, 7.3K. But hey man, that's what needed to be done. Let's listen to it really quickly with this off and on. Actually, let's turn this off, and then we'll listen to just what is happening to the mid range here. So first off. Yes, you can hear it's really just tightening up and controlling everything in the guitars. Just that low mid area, especially, it just feels like there's it's just controlling the guitars. So yeah, I know that this area can get really it can make mixes sound really dull and gross, but at the same time you have to be really careful about how much of this you take out, because it could take out, as a lot of people say, it takes out a lot of the power in your guitar tone, which is totally true. So yeah, that's my first EQ. My second EQ here, kind of interesting. So I find that when I use plugins, whether it's Neural DSP or like Neural Amp Modeler plugins, maybe less so those, but yeah, Neural or like Audio Assault, just like any of these like guitar plugins, I find that it almost sounds like they're pre-EQ'd or like pre-controlled to some degree, and I get a lot less information in the low end response than I want. So what I found as a solution was to open up an instance of Pro Q3 here, and what I do is I put a dynamic band right in this area where the palm mute lives, just so I can get a little bit more of that low end bloom. So we'll listen to this off and then on. And you can hear this solo. Let me go to another section. Yeah, it's just that area right there where the palm mute just really resonates nicely, and I want that. Because all my favorite records have that, and this is just a little notch here. But yeah, all my favorite records I can feel the palm mute. Like when I listen to most of the stuff that I listen to here at my desk, and there's this thing that happens when I listen to an album. The guitar tone, I can feel the vibration of the palm mutes on the desktop, and that to me is like an indicator. If my mix does that, then I know I'm in the right spot. But if it doesn't do that, then something like this is what I would do. So yeah, next thing is Pro MB, which is funny because now I'm doing what you would typically do to a guitar tone that is out of control in the palm mute frequency, which is to control it. So basically what I've done is I've created the problem so that I can solve it. It seems counterintuitive here a little bit, but honestly, I really liked how this turned out, and I've done this a few times in other mixes, and it turns out great with plugins. So yeah, very typical Promb MB. We're getting about a dB of gain reduction on this. Like, it's really just tickling the palm mute. Like, that's it. It's not doing much. And then finally, well, second to final, we have Soothe II. On my computer might overload really quickly because Soothe II is just insane on processing power. So yeah, this is also just a really typical move that you would do for guitars in Soothe. Just hitting those upper mids a little bit, just controlling them a little bit. I don't even think I would really need to have this on, but it just made the guitar tone for me just that little millimeter more pleasing. So I left this on. You can see I'm getting like no more than 2 dB of this processing. Maybe 3. But yeah, there's that. And then this final thing is something that I learned from Bogin, which is basically it's a compressor, right? But I have it in sidechain mode, so it's not actually affecting the guitars completely. What I've done is I have my drums here, and I have a sidechain that I send my toms to, bus 17. And what I do is I have the guitar's sidechain to the rack and floor toms. So whenever the floor toms hit, the guitars just duck down a little bit. It just gives them a little bit more space. The drums a little more space. So yeah, that's like a Bogin trick. Yeah, I liked how that worked out. So yeah, let's listen to everything kind of together. I'll mute the vocals for now. Yeah, man. I love this guitar tone so much. Let's throw some processing on here on the mix bus and see how that sounds. Yeah, not really doing much, just kind of tidying things up a little bit of compression. This is that true iron plugin everybody's ranting and raving about. I really like what this does. Super subtle. It's like transformer emulation. Really dig that. Then we have just, you know, the typical SSL Bus compressor here. I have it basically in pump mode, but really low threshold, so it's really responsive. And I have it at 4:1 ratio, so the knee gets a little harder, so it takes like really hard hits to engage it. Yeah, and then finally we have just our favorite AI friends at Gulfos, controlling what I couldn't. Yeah. All right. And then I'll throw everything on. Let me make sure that I have the auto gain. Okay, cool. So it's not going to give you too much more volume, but yeah. I'm not going to go into this. Maybe I'll do that in another video, but yeah. Sick. That's it. And this right here is just a plugin that I use to A/B other mixes with. These are the two that I reference the most. I would say this one the most. that cattle mix. I definitely am a big fan of Dave Otero's mixes, and especially how Death Atlas sounds. So I really tried to closely reference that mix to get this one where I wanted it to be. So, yep, that's it. All right, guys, that about rounds out this video. Thanks a bunch for watching. I really love getting hella nerdy in session files. This is all I do basically all day. So it's nice to be able to share this with people. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these. I'm home for like 2 months, so I can really focus on actually releasing videos. I know I say that every time I put out a new video, but I actually mean it this time. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see videos of. What I have next in mind is something probably along the lines of doing going through the drums for this album. If you guys need anybody to do your mixing or mastering for your music or anything, recording DIs for guitars, ghostwriting, you name it, I'm your guy. So please hit me up. Don't feel afraid to reach out. This is what I do all day. I work on my own music, but I'm happy to work on yours as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. All right, thank you.